Sup nerds, Lindsay here again, coming at you with some more completely unsolicited life advice. Well, I guess kind of solicited since you clicked on the video, but anyway, I'll also try to actually look into the camera this time. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I'm not super great at that, but I'm working on it. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the MCAT. As I've mentioned before on my channel, I'm retaking the MCAT here in London while I'm finishing up my master's degree, because I wasn't really happy with my original score. I got a 500, which for some people is more than good enough. I do want to be clear about that. If you got a 500 or even below a 500 and that's the score that you are happy with, then all power to you. I wish you all the best on your studies. But for me, I was not really satisfied with that score, and so I'm retaking the test at the end of May here in London to see if I can improve that score. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to share with everyone some lessons I learned and some tips and tricks that I've acquired both from taking the test for the first time and from the process of studying to retake it so far. Got my little list right here on my iPad. So the first thing I want to talk about is you don't necessarily need to spend a fortune on preparation materials. I know a lot of people get personal tutors and do the prep classes and go to boot camps, and I myself did one of those prep classes. Let me be clear. Learn how to talk, Lindsay. Let me be clear about that. When I took the test the first time around, I did one of those prep classes, and I am 100% convinced that I got a better score because of it. I really got a lot out of that class, not just that I used the first time around on the test, but that I'm using, oh God, there's lipstick all over my teeth. Why didn't anyone tell me? Come on, guys. Where was I? Oh yeah, the prep class. So I'm convinced that I really got a lot out of it, not just the first time around, but the second time around studying as well. So for me, it was really a worthwhile investment. I also got a discount on it through my school, so I didn't have to pay as much as some people do, but those classes can be like $3,000 or $4,000. So I did one of those, and I do think it helped to improve my score, but conversely, one of my closest friends did not spend a dime on study materials. All he used was just his books and his notes from pre-med, then all the free materials that were available on the Kaplan website and on the AAMC website. He got a 520. A 520. That was beautiful. Sorry. A 520 he got on the test. And you know what? Maybe if he'd done one of the classes, he would have gotten an even better score. I don't know. Maybe he would have gotten a perfect score if he'd done one of the classes or gotten a tutor. I'm not saying that these classes will not improve your score, because I really think they improved my score. I'm just saying that you're not doomed to get a bad grade on the MCAT just because you can't afford to drop $5 or $6 grand on a personal tutor or an MCAT boot camp. Another thing, what's next on my list? Oh yeah, another thing I want to share is something that I wish I had known before going into the test for the first time. The thing I wish I had known is that it's really not a very pleasant environment, which might sound obvious, but let me kind of explain myself. As I'm sure you all know by now, the process itself of taking the test is very rigorous. When you go into the test room, you have to turn out your pockets, you have to roll up your sleeves, you have to roll up your pant legs. I was wearing my glasses that day, and they made me take them off and put them down on the table and then turn them over to look for like hidden cameras. I don't know, I don't even know what they were looking for, but they made me do that. And you have to do this every time you go into the test room or out of the test room, which really cuts down on your breaks and your lunch and all that stuff. It's very stressful, it's very time consuming. You've probably been told all that by now. I was told all that the first time before going in as well. What I didn't realize was just what an unpleasant environment the whole thing is. Like, going into and out of the test is basically like going into and out of prison, and they kind of treat you like it. The people working there, they basically treat you like criminals. I almost felt like I had done something wrong the whole time because just the way they were treating me. And they treat you that way because they have to. It's a very serious job what they do. It's a really important test, and they need to make sure that there's no information going in or coming out that shouldn't be. And it's very serious business, but to be honest, it did throw me off a little bit, just not expecting that, especially when I first arrived and I was like all cheerful and ready for test day, only to have the woman behind the desk like all but slap that smile right off my face. It was a little jarring just how humorless the people were there, and I kind of wish I had known that going in. Another piece of advice from my first test day is go look at where the test is going to be held before the day of. That information should be available to you as soon as you register. You'll have the address and the room number. Go look it up. I did that. I went and checked out the test area before the actual test day, and I am so glad I did, because it turned out it was in like this really confusing office park, and it took me a while to figure out which building it was, and that would have just completely stressed me out if I'd had that going on the day of the test. So I'm really glad I checked it out beforehand. Also, see if you can go in. See if you can see where the lockers are, where the bathrooms are. You don't want to be wasting precious minutes or even seconds on test day looking for that stuff. That's pretty much everything from the first time I took the test. Now getting into some things I've been doing to try to improve my score. First of all, look at where the problem areas are. Look at the specific scores that you want to move. For me, the biggest problem area was biochemistry, which I think is a big problem area for a lot of people. Biochemistry is pretty tough. That was always a problem area on my practice tests. It was my lowest score on the final MCAT. So I found somewhere that I could retake it, and hoping to increase my understanding of it, my comprehension of it, like just learning everything again the second time around. And I think it really did increase my understanding of everything. Also, if you have the time and money, see if you can take some more classes outside of that like core curriculum, like those common prerequisites for medical school. For me personally, I had never taken calculus. I had taken statistics, but I'd never taken calculus, and I'd taken physics, but I'd never taken calculus. So I picked up that class as well, and I think it really increased my understanding of physics. So I found that to be very helpful as well. Another thing I'm doing is focusing less on areas that I already know I have a strong comprehension. I had so much anxiety about the MCAT the first time around, and I think that was my biggest hang-up, which is part of why I'm hoping I'll do better the second time around, because I'm hoping it's been a little demystified now. But I was so anxious the first time around that even if I knew a subject like the back of my hand, even if I always scored well on questions on that subject on the practice test, I would still keep reviewing the material on it rigorously. Like I thought it was going to change overnight, or like I thought they were going to like pull the rug out from under me. And it sounds really stupid now, but I did waste a lot of time like rigorously reviewing material that I already knew. I think I was afraid I was going to forget it if I didn't keep constantly reviewing it, which definitely can happen. And you should still review information like that every once in a while. But once you have a comprehensive understanding of something, you don't need to be reviewing it every single day, multiple times a day. That's just not the best use of your time when you could be focusing on areas that are problem areas for you, things that you're consistently missing on your practice tests so that you don't have a strong comprehension of. For me, the best subjects were always Psych Soc and CARS. I know a lot of people struggle with those sections actually, which I think was part of what scared me so much. I think I was afraid I only thought I was good at it or something, but nope, those were my two best sections on the MCAT. I did really well on both of those sections. It was stuff like biochemistry and like organic chemistry that I really needed focusing on, which is what I'm focusing on this time around. This next one, is a little weird and might not be super relatable for everyone, but one of the things that I learned is that I need to get comfortable with silence. That is something that is really difficult for me. I don't really care for silence. I study with music playing in the background. I fall asleep with the TV on. I talk to myself constantly. Part of what got me into ASMR in the first place, kind of fun fact if you're a fan of my ASMR, part of what got me into doing ASMR in the first place was that I just really love having background music, or not even music, background noise going on. I'm really a big fan of white noise, like even when I'm just cooking or cleaning or doing anything like that. Whatever I'm doing, I don't like silence. This is an obvious problem because taking the MCAT means spending about 8 hours in near total silence, right? When I was rushing through Psych-Soc at the end, you know how you're always rushing through Psych-Soc at the end, but when I was rushing at the end, it wasn't even so much that I was tired or burnt out or anything. It was that I was just so damn sick of the silence. I was like, I just couldn't take it anymore. Like as soon as I was done, as soon as I got out of there, I basically just ran to my car, turned on the radio, and called my mom because I was just like, somebody say something! Ah! Like I couldn't take it anymore. I have such a hard time with it being quiet. And I don't know why, but that's one of the things I'm trying to work on because I want to eliminate that distraction. And for me, yes, it is a distraction because I've gotten so used to doing everything with noise and always having noise in my life that when it's silent, that becomes a distraction for me. It sounds crazy, but it's true. But so what I'm trying to do right now is as of today, I am trying to spend at least 30 minutes a day in just total silence. No TV, no music, no YouTube videos in the background, no talking to myself, nothing, just total silence. Once that gets easy, I'm going to move up to an hour and just keep increasing it. And what I'm hoping for is that by the time test day rolls around at the end of May, I'll be comfortable enough in silence that it won't be driving me crazy like it did last time I took the test, and I can eliminate that distraction. The last thing I have on here, my last piece of unsolicited advice, is really just take it easy on yourself. I know it sounds like such a mom thing to say, but I'm actually kind of known for saying mom-like things, especially when it comes to right before the test, like the day before the test. The first time around, like I said, I was so anxious. I was just an anxious, nervous wreck the day before the test. Because what I felt like that day is I felt like I hadn't studied enough. And in hindsight, it wasn't that I hadn't studied enough so much as that I just hadn't studied correctly, but that's beside the point. The point is there was really no benefit in me doing that. There was no benefit in me spending the day before the test being all anxious and nervous and being mad at myself for not studying more, having not done this, not done that, whatever. It's a complete waste of energy to do that. And what I'm doing this time is I'm actually looking into some spas here in London. That's what I've been doing recently. I'm thinking of just going to like get my nails done or something like that the day before, something really relaxing that I'll enjoy. As I said that, I noticed my shoulders were like creeping up like this. Ugh, gotta relax. Relaxation is important, especially right before the test. So let's keep that in mind as well. That's all I have. I hope something in here was helpful to somebody. I'll probably post some more videos later with some of my study tricks and tips, the way I remember things. I have kind of weird ways for remembering things, but maybe they'll work for some people. So if that's something you're interested in, just keep checking back to my channel. If you're feeling really stressed right now and feel like you want to relax, maybe check out some of my ASMR content. That's what it's there for. In fact, I just did an ASMR video where I'm reading some of the behavioral science notes from the quick sheet, so maybe you can relax and get a study in at the same time. That's really it. Good luck, everyone, and I hope y'all have a great day.